Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Oh, so your screen
Pranam, please accept our humble obeisance. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, please accept our humble obeisances on behalf of everybody who have joined the group and are about to join. Prabhuji, we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 1, Chapter 19. The Chapter 19 is the appearance of Sukadev Goswami. Yes. We are on text 19, and still Sukadev Goswami has not appeared, Prabhuji.
Yes, he's giving a teaser for his appearance. Can I share the screen so I can, because I'm reading, so everyone can see what I'm reading from the text, if that's okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, kindly go ahead. Hare Krishna Govinda Lila Mataji and Hare Krishna Pramila Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So we'll just, before we read, we'll just pray our obeisances to Srila Vyasadeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So we will now we'll be reading, as Mataji said, we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 19, verse 19. I'll just go straight into the Sanskrit pronunciation. Mahashayo ve samupagataye prashashya sad iti anumodamanaha uchu prajanugraha shila sara yat uttama shloka gunabhiram. So now we'll repeat it after I repeat it. Mahashayo ve samupagataye.
Mahashayo vai samupagate.
Prashashya sad iti anumodamanaha.
Prashashya Saviviti Anumothamanaha
Uchu Prajanugraha Shilashara
Uchu Prajanugraha Shilashraha
Yad Uttama Shloka Gunabhiram.
Yat Uttama Shloka Gunabhirupam.
Okay. Mahashaya,
Mahashaya,
the great sages.
the great sages.
They,
They,
as a matter of course.
as a matter of course.
Samupagataha,
Samupagataha,
assembled there.
assembled there.
Yeah,
Ye,
those who.
those who.
Prashashya,
Rashashya,
by praising.
by praising.
Sadhu,
Sadhu,
quite all right.
quite all right.
Iti,
Iti,
thus.
thus.
Anumodamanaha,
Anumoda,
all approving.
all approving.
Uchu,
Uchu,
said.
Praja
Anugraha,
Anugraha,
doing good to the living being.
doing
good
good
to
to
the
the
living.
living being.
Shila Saraha,
Shila
Saraha,
qualitatively powerful.
qualitatively powerful.
qualitatively powerful.
Yat,
Yet,
because.
because.
Uttama Shloka,
Uttama Shloka,
one who is praised by selected poems.
one who is praised by selected poems.
selected poems.
Guna Abhirupam,
Guna Abhirupam,
as beautiful as godly qualities.
as
beautiful as godly qualities.
Translation. All the great sages who were assembled there also praised the decision of Maharaj Parikshit, and they expressed their approval by saying, very good. Naturally, the sages are inclined to do good to common men, for they have all the qualitative powers of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they were very much pleased to see Maharaj Parikshit, a devotee of the Lord, and they spoke as follows. Purport. The natural beauty of a living being is enhanced by rising up to the platform of devotional service. Maharaj Parikshit was absorbed in attachment for Lord Krishna. Seeing this, the great sages assembled were very pleased, and they expressed their approval by saying, very good. Such sages are naturally inclined to do good to the common man, and when they see a personality like Maharaj Parikshit advance in devotional service, their pleasure knows no bounds, and they offer all blessings in their power. The devotional service of the Lord is so auspicious that all demigods and sages up to the Lord himself become pleased with the devotee, and therefore the devotee finds everything auspicious. All inauspicious matters are removed from the path of a progressive devotee. Meeting all the great sages at the time of death was certainly auspicious for Maharaj Parikshit, and thus he was blessed by the so-called curse of a Brahmana's boy. So Hare Krishna, everyone. So it's nice to be back. I'm not so in America, in New York City, they're observing Radhashtami today. In some parts of the world, they're not. I think tomorrow they're observing. So those who are observing today, happy Radhashtami. If you're observing tomorrow, happy Radhashtami in advance. So this is a very small purport, very small purport. But there's a very interesting statement here where Prabhupada talks about in the purport the natural beauty. So in the material world, beauty, the living entity is naturally beautiful. because the soul is made from spirit, and the soul is considered to be qualitatively the same as Krishna. He has the qualities of Krishna, but to a very minute degree. But that minute degree is much greater than any material opulence. So the jiva is naturally beautiful, but the jiva is covered by material conditioning. He or she is not unable to see his real beauty. So in this verse, Prabhupada is talking about the natural beauty of a living being. So what is real beauty? In the material world, we say beauty is your physical body. You know, sometimes it's the way you speak. Sometimes they refer to your wealth or to your position or to what you've achieved. But that is not real beauty, because those things you can lose. It's a fact. No one can remain beautiful for long. Your money can go anytime. If the government becomes, like maybe it becomes like a communist country or it becomes a dictatorship, they can take away your money. You can lose your strength. You can lose your wisdom. So this is not beauty that is eternal. The real beauty is coming from the soul. And now you could say, well, then everyone's beautiful. Yes, they are beautiful. But Prabhupada talks about the natural beauty of a living being is enhanced by rising up to the platform of devotional service. So Prabhupada is talking about the mood. Beauty comes from the mood. It doesn't come from physical, the external, what we perceive. Now, that doesn't mean that if someone is doing something, has a physical body that's beautiful, it is beauty in one sense, but it's not true beauty. And we could say that it has the element of expressing the details of the inner of details of beauty, but it's not the cause of beauty. The real beauty is coming from the soul. So Prabhupada is talking about the mood. And what is the mood here? The mood is attachment to Krishna, attachment to performing devotional service, attachment to uncovering our true identity as Jivara Swarupa Krishna Nityadas. So Parikshit Maharaj is doing this, and that's why he's considered to be beautiful. That's why the sages are saying this is amazing. Now, if you study this concept of the mood, like a child, a baby is attracted to its mother. Why is it attracted to its mother? Because the mother has this unconditional nature to love the baby no matter what, and the baby is attracted to that, and from that mood, attachment comes, and the child builds attachment to the mother, and the mother builds attachment to the child. It doesn't matter if the child in the beginning doesn't have that mood, because the child's intelligence is not developed, but the mother has it, and the mother loves this child unconditionally. In fact, Prabhupada says, the closest thing to pure love for Krishna in this material world is the love a mother has for its child, and that's the pure, you could say it's the purest thing in the material world, but it's not in terms of spirituality, it's far away from the pure love for Krishna, because that's the true love. So Prabhupada says that the living entity's beauty is enhanced by practicing bhakti. So, and it's like Parikshit Maharaj, he's absorbed in his attachment to Krishna. Because of his mood, he's attached to Krishna. And, Krishna is Atmaram. He's the most attractive. So if you're attracted to Krishna, well, guess what? You're going to take on qualities of Krishna. So Prabhupada talks about godly qualities. So you also become attractive. Why is that? Because Krishna considers the jivas non-different from him. He considers the jivas like his family. He loves all the jivas. So he wants for the jiva what he has. He wants them also to be beautiful. He wants also to them be happy. He wants them to also live forever. So the devotee takes on this attractiveness in the form of a mood and attachment to Krishna. So the mood is so important. Otherwise, without the mood, there's no real attachment to Krishna. Now, it's like an example can be given, like you give a gift, you go, like in sometimes we see that someone will give a gift to someone, and that person doesn't actually like that person or doesn't have any real affection. He's just giving that gift to that person out of just to be courteous, just to meet social convention. But if that person found out who received the gift, would he really appreciate the gift? He wouldn't really appreciate it. Because what is the gift expressing? The gift is expressing the mood of affection, the mood of love, the mood of appreciation. The gift itself is not love. It's not the mood. It's a medium to express that mood. But if that mood is not there, then what is the value of the gift? So when we're performing bhakti, when we're doing devotional service, that mood has to be there. That mood is not artificial. It's already in the soul, but we have to enhance it. We have to cultivate it. So the more we do devotional service, the more and more we become more attached to Krishna. And it can start from anything, eating prasadam, hearing Hare Krishna, even saying hello to a devotee, even doing something, giving charity to a devotee. That will start your spiritual life. That's Agyata Sukriti. And from that, your spiritual life starts to build, and your mood starts to develop, and your attachment starts to develop. And one day you will develop love for Krishna. So that's what it means. Then, and that is the real beauty, because the real beauty is what you're becoming attracted. Krishna is becoming attractive to you, and by becoming attracted to Krishna, you're not only taking on Krishna's godly qualities, but you're also becoming attractive to Krishna's devotees. They're also becoming attractive to you. It's explained as when the jiva becomes perfected and he's going back to Godhead, he's going back to the spiritual world. The demigods are throwing flowers on him. They're so happy for him. They're so happy for that jiva. He's achieved perfection. There's no this envious mood. Oh, why is he going? Why am I not going? There's nothing like that. They're actually genuinely happy. So a devotee, a sage, anyone who is a devotee of Krishna is happy to see someone advance in spiritual life. I remember reading Prabhupada saying that once there was a disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he would go out and distribute magazines, and sometimes he would only distribute one magazine, collect very little money. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was so happy, was so pleased with him. He said, "You've done such a nice thing for Krishna." I remember when I first joined Krishna consciousness, and I remember I would help out devotees do services here and there. And I remember there would be devotees who would come up to me, I wouldn't even know them, and they would say, "Prabhu, I heard you did some service. And it's so inspiring to hear this. Thank you for inspiring me." Now, and they, and it wasn't, I didn't even know them, and it wasn't they were being artificial. They genuinely meant it. They genuinely were inspired. They genuinely were happy that this person is practicing devotional service. He's becoming more beautiful in the eyes of Krishna. He's trying to attract Krishna's mercy. So then that person, being a true devotee, also encourages that person. So there's not really a concept of competition. Now, competition is a word that we find in this world, and we see it as a good thing. But actually, competition is based on envy, because it means you want to be better than someone. It's like when there's a football match, one team loses, one team wins, But so we don't believe in competition in that sense, We don't. It's not that devotees are competing with one another. We're happy to see other people go past us, because that gives us happiness. Because we know this person is pleasing Krishna. So we reject the idea of competition. Now, obviously, we can say, well, Prabhupada did encourage competition during the 70s, during the Christmas book marathon. If you read Lilamrita, it's detailed heavily. Prabhupada called it transcendental competition. But Prabhupada was encouraging people's mode of passion and engaging that in the service of Krishna. But generally, devotees don't compete with each other. It's not who does the most books, who collects the most money. It's just doing the activity and having the right mood and cultivating that mood and attachment by activities. That's what brings out the real beauty. So it's a really inspiring thing when you see when the higher residents of the material universe, they see a jiva who's achieved that, and he's going back to Godhead. He's going, and they're so excited, they're so happy, it's so inspiring. So devotees and sages have the same interest. They have the same nature as Krishna. Now, Parikshit Maharaj, he has invoked the blessings of the sages, because he is creating a situation whereby Shukadev Goswami will come and he will speak Krishna Katha, and he will bless the whole environment, the whole world, by speaking this. Like in Krishna consciousness, so it's like, the mood has to be there. So now Shukadev Parikshit Maharaj didn't just have the mood, but he also had the qualification to do this. Like sometimes we say, well, like someone may say, I want to make a business, I want to create a successful business, right? I have this desire, I'm going to be a millionaire or a billionaire. But does that person have any qualification? Does he have any skill set? Probably not. So we need qualification as well. And Parikshit Maharaj was the most qualified person. He knew how to please Krishna. So he's got the mood and he's got the qualification. And by that, he's showing everyone what should one do at the time of death. He gave up his kingdom. He sat down on the banks, and all the great sages came and sat down. Even Vyasadeva was there. Sutta Goswami was also there, because he speaks later on in the Bhagavatam. He's reciting what Shukadeva Goswami experienced. So, he's setting the example. And this is so beautiful for the devotees of Krishna, the sages, the demigods, even Krishna to see. So, and Parikshit Maharaj wasn't qualified just because of him being a great king. It was because of his mood, which led to his attachment. That was his real qualification. It wasn't based on position. So we can see that, we can just do it. We can do like an observation. People who have high positions in society, which leads to fame, strength, wealth, beauty, whatever. They're not really that happy, because they're worrying about they can lose this at any moment in their lives. But if you go to India, you go to a simple village in Ahmadhat, you'll see a simple elderly person just chanting the names of God, being very happy, being very satisfied, because they've cultivated that. They know what true happiness is. So their happiness is not based on material facilities. It's based on becoming attached to Krishna. That is true happiness for them. And that is true beauty. That's not to say we can't engage in material things in Krishna, because we can, because Prabhupada talked about that. So the sages, when they see this symptom, they become so happy. So Prabhupada says when a devotee sees another devotee, Prabhupada talks about that. If a devotee comes many years after this person, another devotee, the devotee who came early will be so happy to see, this person's advanced more quickly than me. Like we see sometimes, especially in Indian communities, we see, people who left their families to go abroad, and they send money back home to educate their brothers and sisters, and they're going through all that austerity, and their siblings sometimes rise higher in society than them. And they're so happy to see that, because they want their siblings to be more successful than them. They want them to be more happy, because their love is based on seeing them happy, and that is true love, actually, from a material perspective. So this mood of becoming attached to Krishna, and performing devotional service, it creates good association, and which creates a good environment for Krishna consciousness to perform spiritual activities, where there's not an environment of competition. Because in the assembly of Parikshit Maharaj, there were many different people of different spiritual qualifications. Rupa Goswami says they were even Kanishta Adhikaris. They were great Gyanis, they were great yogis, they were also great devotees. But they didn't come with the mood of, who's this guy? He's just a king. He's not renounced. He's not learned in the Vedas. He's not learned in meditation. I should be doing this. They didn't have that. They came here because they were so happy to see someone showing the way for society. They were so happy to see this person becoming beautiful in the eyes of Krishna, becoming beautiful in the eyes of the entire cosmos. And that's what was the inspiration. There was no competition. So Krishna is pleased when devotees are pleased to see other devotees advance in their spiritual life. So, I remember like the pastime of the Prachetas. And, they were performing great austerities. And Lord Vishnu came to see them. And Lord Vishnu said he was very pleased with them, not by the austerity, but by the fact that they cooperated with each other. They helped each other. They were true friends to each other. They helped each other achieve their duty and perform devotional service, make advancement. And Lord Vishnu said, this is what pleases me, that you're all cooperating together. You're all helping each other. You're all acting as true friends. You're all happy for each other. This was what pleased the Lord. And even Prabhupada said, before he left as well, that what will please me is if my devotees organize and cooperate together, So this is very much the mood of a bhakta, of a devotee. He wants to help other devotees advance, even if it means advancing more than them, because this is what pleases Krishna, and this is what creates a spiritual environment. Now, the second theme in this is that auspiciousness, because the mood that Parikshit Maharaj has led him to becoming beautiful, and it's created an auspicious environment. So, auspiciousness is mentioned in the Vedas. It's mentioned in different religious traditions. But if you study the different religious traditions, even in the Vedas, it's mostly dealing with materialism. It's dealing with improving, giving charity, being a good person, reaching a position, cultivating good karma. In Hinduism, people go to temples, they give money pray for material things. But so if you ask someone what auspiciousness is, you'll get a different opinion based on their personal definition, based on their perspective. But if you approach a devotee, a definition of auspiciousness is much more broader, is much more detailed. Auspiciousness is what helps you to remember Krishna. And not remembering Krishna is inauspiciousness. So this activity that Parikshit Maharaj is doing is leading to auspiciousness because it's helping everyone to remember Krishna, not in the present, but also in the future. Everyone there got to hear about Krishna. If you read, it's explained that when Sutta Goswami, before he spoke, he related Srimad Bhagavatam to the assembly. He first spoke about the 18 Puranas, and he went through the minor Puranas. Then he got to the Bhagavatam. Then after all the sages was like, tell me more about Krishna. Tell me more about Krishna. They were so inspired. So this is the mood. So it inspires people to hear more about Krishna. It inspires people to create that right mood, and that's what means to create auspiciousness, because you're making other people beautiful in the eyes of the Lord. You're helping them uncover their material conditioning. So material conditioning can affect our perspective and our judgment of things, our definition of things. So, but and so if you analyze, if you read the Bhagavatam, it talks about different planetary systems. The demigods, they have a different level of auspiciousness, because a lot of them are not pure devotees. A lot of them are practicing they're performing different types of religion within the material realm. So they will say what's happening in the material world is not good. It's not auspicious. Someone from the lower planetary systems where the demons reside, they'll say, well, this is like the heavenly planets for us. We're having it good. We're having a great time. We're doing this. But by people who are higher than will look down below them. We'll say this is not good. So our perspective is tainted by conditioning, our material conditioning. And if you read Krishna book, not just Krishna book, we read the Bhagavatam. It talks about even the Lord when he appears. There's people who have issues with him. Demons have issues with him. We see Krishna's cousin Shishupal criticize Krishna, and Krishna had to kill him. We see Duryodhana trying to arrest Krishna, and Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure. He's the reservoir of all good qualities. Everything good comes from him. But even people in the material world have issues. Even demons, even normal people. We also see the Pandavas. They were the best of the best. They were highly qualified. They were saintly. They were dharmic. They were spiritual. But still, there were some people who had issues with them. So it depends on your perspective. It only takes only a devotee can appreciate a devotee. A materialist can't appreciate all materialists. He will only appreciate a materialist on his level. Like a millionaire can only appreciate a millionaire or a billionaire. He won't appreciate someone who's not a millionaire. Someone playing soccer, who's playing in the Premier League or this Liga 1 in Spain, will not appreciate someone in the lower leagues, because they don't see it because they base it on position. They base it on material accumulation. But a devotee can appreciate someone not based on what they've got, but based on their mood. He can recognize the symptoms and say, this person is a real bhakta. He's got the right mood. He's attachment to Krishna. He's becoming attached to Krishna. He's creating auspiciousness in the world. We also see the acharyas were criticized. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was known as the lion guru because he was very sharp. He would cut mundane, bogus philosophies. He had no time for that. And people were disturbed, and there was also attempts on his life. Even the police were involved. So even when, it's explained when Prabhupada came to the West, he went through, there were many people who didn't appreciate Prabhupada. Many people were, critical. I'm just trying to think of this Prabhupada pastime. I can't remember, it'll come to me. But, so it's not that, it's just, so you have to be qualified to appreciate a devotee. You have to be qualified to see the symptoms, and that's by becoming a devotee. It's by coming in contact with Krishna consciousness, cultivating agyata sukriti, unknowingly performing devotional service. So you can see these symptoms. So you can create, and when you see these symptoms, you can basically start to practice devotional service, create the mirror that will lead to attachment, that will lead to auspiciousness, and ultimately to perfection. So, if you look at the situation, Bhagavad Gita, Shukadev Goswami is speaking the Bhagavatam, the banks of a river, and it's very clean, very sattvic, very amazing. But Bhagavad Gita was spoken on the battlefield, just before a great war when millions of people died. By a material standard, that's not very auspicious. It's not a very good setting, but and Krishna speaks the Bhagavad Gita, the essence of the Vedas, to show that spiritual knowledge is not dependent on material circumstances. It transcends that. It doesn't depend on that. Auspiciousness can happen in any situation. So Parikshit Maharaj, when people read about Parikshit Maharaj, they'll think, well, who are not trained in spirituality, they think, well, this person, Krishna saved him at birth, but now Krishna allowed him to be in a situation where he's going to die in 7 days. Why is Krishna not saving him? And now he's dying. What's going to happen to his kingdom? Everything's going to fall apart, right? So they see that as inauspiciousness. But a real devotee will see that as auspiciousness, because he is setting the example for all the devotees, all the people of the world, what to do at the time of death, which is to remember Krishna. Ante Narayan Smriti. Think of Krishna at the time of death. He's creating auspiciousness. All those people that were there were blessed. All the people who are on the battlefield of Bhagavad Gita are blessed. So even at Bhagavad Gita, Kurukshetra, if you go there, because that was a place where religious sacrifice was performed. By Krishna speaking the Gita, by Krishna's devotees, the Pandavas coming to that place is even more auspicious, So auspiciousness, is throughout scripture, different scriptures, different throughout the Vedas. But they have a different definition. Even in the material and hellish planets, they have different definition of auspiciousness. Our auspiciousness is based on Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and what the acharyas say. Now, so another thing is like someone may say, well, so if you study the Vedas, it talks about charity, it talks about dharmic. Even dharmic is material, is a material thing. So does that mean we reject these things? Because dharmic, Prabhupada encourages us to be dharmic. He says, you should be truthful, you should be a law-abiding citizen, you should pay your taxes, you should give in charity, you should do this, you should do that. We don't reject these things. Of course we accept them. Because, this is the best platform to practice culture, to practice Krishna consciousness on, so we can go back to Godhead. And those activities don't become material when you connect it to Krishna. They also become spiritual activities. So, but the goal is not to become attached to them. The goal is not to become attached to I'm a dharmic person. We don't want to get attached to doing things in the mode of goodness just because it feels good. That's not the goal of them. That's not the goal of the mode of goodness. It's like, like when you're learning the alphabet as a child, you sing it as a song, right? Then slowly you will learn punctuation, you will learn grammar, you will learn vocabulary, and then you'll start to read, and then you'll start to communicate with others. So the goal of learning the alphabet, learning a language, is to communicate. It's not to sing the alphabet song. That's not the goal. So in the same way, these different things, these dharmic things, are there to be utilized and help us to come to bhakti, so we can practice these things. So auspiciousness is activities that are connected to Krishna. It's better to and one may say one may be material, have material desires. Even then, it's better to turn to Krishna, because Krishna will purify your desires. He will give you that thing, and you think, why did I want this? I don't need it. I've got Krishna. So, like, I remember going to, I went to the Tirupati temple in Andhra Pradesh, and I remember, like, I was just thinking, like, because it's a Sri Vaishnava temple, and I think most of the people here are probably asking for material things. No one's asking for bhakti, right? And because there's a special pastime connected to that temple, so Balaji he fulfills that desire, and there are many other Lord Vishnu temples like that in India. So, but the thing is, the point is better to turn to Krishna, because then Krishna will fulfill that desire. So it's better to get Krishna to fulfill your desire, and Krishna will fulfill it. Just like Dhruva Maharaj, when he went to the forest to do austerities, Lord Vishnu offered him whatever he wanted. Then he thought, why am I desiring this? Also another thing I was thinking about was that when we talk about auspiciousness, and there are many terms that are mentioned in the Vedas that we reject, like karma, gyan, dhyan, prayashit, all these things are mentioned. And generally, they, because Krishna says the Bhagavad Gita deals with the three modes of material nature. So all these things fall within that category, and it's a fact. But if you, if you study, if you like study, the scripture, you'll find there's not much mention to Krishna in the Vedas. It's very, very minimum. That's why Vyasadeva wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, and he wrote it to fully glorify Krishna, to show that Krishna is the goal of the Vedas. But so someone like Madhvacharya, he said that all the terms, all the mantras, all the personalities, everything mentioned in the Vedas can be interpreted on three levels. It can be interpreted to refer to, on the lower level, to nature, on the second level to demigods, and on the third level to Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu. So a devotee, because he is qualified, he has the spiritual qualification, he's able to see Krishna and that. He's able to connect everything, all these terms, to spiritual life. So for example, like Prabhupada says, we don't do welfare work. We don't do material welfare work. We're not interested in giving people food for the sake of giving food. We're interested in giving people Krishna Prasadam, because there are many other charity organizations in the world who are already doing that. So why do we want to be another number? We want to do something unique, something novel. We want to give them Krishna's mercy. We want to give that in the form of prasadam, right? Yeah, we can open a hospital. Yeah, but we want to have a hospital where people, when they come there, they think of Krishna, remember Krishna, and especially those people who are dying, they are given the facility to think of Krishna at the time of death. So charity is a material dharmic activity. But devotees use it for Krishna. What's our charity? Our charity is preaching, going on the streets and preaching Krishna consciousness, giving, sharing. That's our charity. So we don't reject these different sadhanas, these different practices. We engage them in Krishna service. And I was just thinking about when I first read the Gita, and not Prabhupada's Gita, and I remember coming across the terms karma, gyan, dhyan, and Krishna is recommending them. And later on, I came across these devotees who, they're quite scholarly, and they were talking about these terms. Because Krishna says, in the third and fifth chapter, to Arjuna to practice karma yoga. And they're saying, why didn't Krishna just say bhakti? And one of the reasons they gave was that, when Krishna is speaking about karma, he's speaking about bhakti. So that means the original meaning of karma, gyan, and dhyan, the process he was recommending was originally bhakti, but it got lost over time. So then Krishna reintroduced that. So, because we know there's different levels of karma. There's, there's Sakam Karma Yoga, there's Nishkam Karma Yoga. So Krishna is speaking about Nishkam Karma Yoga, which is a lower level of bhakti. But the thing is, these original words, from India, even in the Gita, were originally referring to bhakti, but they got lost over time. So Prabhupada translates that. If you read Prabhupada's book, Message of Godhead, it's very interesting. Prabhupada's, the way he used terminology was very different then. So he was saying, you should practice karma yoga. You should practice Buddhi yoga. But if you look at his books that he wrote after he came to America, he just said practice bhakti yoga or devotional service, even though the verse is, the context is talking about karma, because karma yoga means engaging your mature activities in Krishna's service, but not be attached to them. But Prabhupada translated bhakti because he knew people would get confused. So he explained it like that. So basically all these words, all these paths are spiritually auspicious, and they refer to Krishna in the ultimate degree. So the real beauty of a real beauty is a person who is developing his relationship to Krishna, uncovering the material conditioning, and creating a circumstance which becomes auspiciousness for everyone. And we know, Prabhupada says that someone who's a devotee, people in his family lineage going backwards and forward, they all go back to Godhead. What that means is they all have the opportunity to come into contact with the process of Krishna consciousness and become purified and perfected and go back to Godhead. So I will stop here. If anyone has any questions, we'll be happy, or anyone wants to share realization. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for this wonderful session. I really liked the example of the gift and the mood. I never thought of it like that. I mean, by giving such examples, you have really simplified, because I was going to ask you, what is mood? And then I was asking you that question, and then you gave that example. So it has really stuck in. And also auspiciousness. I mean, whatever makes you think of Krishna is auspicious. I mean, It's so common sense, but the penny dropped in, at least in my mind.
Yes. But even, even when we're in challenging situations, that should make us think of Krishna, because death is at every step. I remember once I was driving with a devotee and a car nearly hit us, and that devotee said, Hare Krishna. And I didn't even think of that. And I was like, wow, even in that situation, that person thought of Krishna. That's auspiciousness. That inspired me. So, and that's auspiciousness, Any situation that for devotees, any situation should remind us of Krishna. That's auspiciousness.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving that example. And then also the learning of alphabets. I mean, it's not to say it's there to learn how to speak. So thank you for all these examples. They might mundane or materialistic, but then it helps us understand. So thank you so much. Let me open this up to anybody has a question or a comment. Hare Krishna. I think everybody's in Radhashtami mood.
Yeah, Radhashtami.
Hare Krishna, are there any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna. I'm so sorry. I just stepped away for a moment because I was working. But I missed one. So I missed part of the last part of the conversation. You mentioned that something there was a word that was not used by Srila Prabhupada, and what was that word?
Yeah, so if you read Prabhupada's books before he came to the West, he wrote small booklets. One booklet was called Message of Godhead. And in that book, Prabhupada says to people, perform karma yoga, right? Now, when Prabhupada came to the West, he didn't say that. He said, perform bhakti yoga. So I was explaining that karma, gyan, dhyan originally refer to the process of bhakti. They are originally Krishna's, they refer to Krishna. So like for example, in the Vedas, there are many mantras, many personalities, and sometimes people say, well, it doesn't refer to Krishna. For example, the name Lord Vishnu, name of Lord Shiva is Ashutosh. Ashutosh means one who's pleased, but who's pleased or is peaceful. I can't remember exactly, but that originally refers to Krishna. And a lot of the names refer to positions, and they originally are referring to Krishna. So these are originally Krishna's words. They're originally our Vaishnava terms. And these mantras, these verses, these passages can be interpreted on 3 levels, where the lower level refers to nature, the middle level refers to demigods, and the high level refers to bhakti, to Krishna. But only a devotee can see that. So there's a famous statement by Bhakti Siddhanta. I'll just tell it. I heard it from Jayadvaita Swami. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was invited to a debate, and he had to prove the supremacy of Krishna consciousness. And in that assembly, there were many people from different schools of philosophy from the Vedas. There was Karmis, there was Gyanis, there was Dhyanis. So everyone knew that Bhakti Siddhanta was an encyclopedia. He knew the Vedas back to front. So they said to him, and they also knew that Gaudiya Vaishnavas mostly refer to Puranas, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, for their authority. So they were like, okay, you can't refer to the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam to present the truth. So they thought, okay, we've got them into a corner. So Bhakti Siddhanta says, sure, no problem. So then they were like, okay, you can't refer to the Smriti scriptures, which are the scriptures that are which is like the Puranas, other Puranas, and so the Bhakti Siddhanta says, sure, no problem. So then they said, you can't refer to the Upanishads, and the Upanishads are the philosophical portions of the Vedas. So Bhakti Siddhanta said, sure, no problem. And then they got to the Samhitas, which are the mantra texts. And Bhakti Siddhanta said, sure, no problem. That's fine. I can preach Krishna consciousness from that. So then they became like overwhelmed. They're like, he's going to defeat everyone here. So they said to him, don't come. So because they knew he could, Bhakti Siddhanta said, I can present Krishna's God just from one letter of the Sanskrit alphabet, from one verse of the Vedic literature. So what I'm saying is Krishna, anything to do with Krishna consciousness is in the Vedas. the original meaning of all these processes, all these words, all these personalities is Krishna. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Even I missed a few things over there, and thank you, Mataji, for asking that question, because I got the gist as well now. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Prabhuji, we still have time. If you don't mind, can you please tell us, at least I don't know the pastime of prachetas.
Prachetas. Yeah, I read that a while ago. So the prachet, I mean, I can't remember fully. I'll have to. But basically, prachetas were these personalities who were performing great austerity. They were, austerities we can't even understand. And there was a group of them. There was a group. There's thousands of them, maybe even millions. And they all worked together in cooperation. They supported each other. They encouraged each other. They were true friends to each other. They loved each other. And and that while they were performing their duties. And prachetas, the Lord Vishnu was very pleased by this activity, and he came to see them. He didn't talk about their duty. He didn't talk about their austerity, because that was what they were mostly known for. He talked about their community of support, care, love, and friendship. That really inspired him. So he said to him, and that pleased the Lord, and by that they became perfected. There was that mood of sadhu sangha helping each other grow in our Krishna consciousness, showing support, showing love, showing friendship, and being happy when one person progresses faster than us. There was not this culture of competition, because competition is based on envy, being better than the other person. So that really pleased Lord Vishnu. And that is a great proper. I mean, I can't remember some of this because I read it a while back, but Prabhupada, he talks about this is what our community should be based on. We are showing support to each other. We're happy if someone makes more progress than us. Progress doesn't mean the position in the organization or accumulation of things. It means how attached that person is to Krishna, his mood, and that signifies real beauty to Krishna and to devotees, and that inspires everyone to go further in their spiritual life, so we can all become the environment becomes auspicious, so everyone can go back to Godhead. So that was something that was very beautiful. I really like that. And Prabhupada, when he passed away, he said to his disciples, "You can show your love for me by how you work." I think I'm paraphrasing because I can't, but I remember one of the words was cooperate and work together. And I can't remember the other one. So if someone knows, they can say it. But this is very much needed. So we shouldn't think that spiritual life is this one man competitive thing. It's a group activity. It's we're all in it together. We're all helping each other. And if one person goes back to Godhead before us, we say, please pray, please think of us. Please, we're so happy for you, but please think of us. So I remember there was this devotee in London. It was a very senior Vaishnava, and the years of service, and he passed away during an operation, unfortunately. And his friend was saying, I could see his spiritual body leaving, and they're all glorifying him. So everyone was saying he went back to Godhead. It was pretty much understood, and his wife was really upset because she missed her husband, and his wife, my guru said to his wife, he said, "Don't pray for him, pray to him," because that meant he's gone back. Don't pray for him, he's all right. You need to pray to him for his mercy. So that was really nice. I remember that. So devotees, it doesn't matter what position a devotee is in. It doesn't matter if they don't even know the verses of the Gita, if they're new. They're a devotee that's made that step in Krishna's service. In Krishna's eyes, he's beautiful, and Krishna loves everyone equally. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter what they've done, but the fact that they surrender to Krishna, Krishna says, "You're now mine." So Krishna says, when you get initiated, you become part of my family. That's why we're called Achyuta Gotra. We're that's how when we get initiated. So that's something that's very profound and meaningful for me. Did someone ask a question in the comment section? Oh, so someone shared the quote. My wife did. "The test of your love for me will be how you cooperate together after I am gone. And that is true. That is true. Sadhu. That's what Sadhu does. They work together. They overcome their material differences. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for that explanation. Are there any other questions or comments? We can close this session in preparation for Radhashtami tomorrow. That's where all the devotees are. They are
yes.
the center and the temple everywhere.
I wanted just to say one quote, one sentence I had, maybe some inspiration for Radhashmi. This movement is called the Krishna consciousness movement that we're in. But if you think about it, it's actually Radharani's movement, because Krishna came with the mood of Radharani to deliver the whole universe. So it's actually Radharani's movement. So it's a nice meditation for today.
Yes, how sweet. Prashanatma Prabhu, are you able to close the session for today? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, may I just say something first, please?
Of course.
Go ahead.
Thank you for your lovely discourse, Prabhuji. Lots of information. Mataji, I wanted to say that the Prachitas, the story of the Prachitas, the activities of the Prachitas is in Canto 4, the creation of the Bhagavatam. I think it's about chapter 30. Did you hear?
Yes, we heard. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Haribo.
Krishna Prabhuji, is it possible to put your video on just for 1 second so that everybody can see you as you are
Okay. Haribo.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Sorry, I'm not in a very clear place.
No, it's okay.
Okay. My lighting is a bit. Thank you, Prabhu, for the wonderful class. Please accept my humble obeisances. Please, all the devotees assembled, please add Danvat pranams to all of you. As you said, Prabhu, we are just like Maharaj Parikshit was in the association of great sages, and Shukadev Goswami also instructing and giving such nectar. So we're also happy that we can get great sages also during these Bhagavatam classes to help us, to inspire us, and to help us move forward in our spiritual lives. So where the devotees are assembled, surely it is great and it is always wonderful. And these classes are very attractive, and happy to meet devotees from all around the world. It's very nice. So thank you so much for giving this class, for giving your valuable time, and thanks to all the devotees also assembled. Thank you for giving me associations. So I will request all the devotees to please unmute and chant the Hare Krishna mantra in glorification of His Grace Dharmaraja Prabhu. Also, before that, I also wish you all a happy Radhashtami, and may we all and you all have blessings of Srimati Radharani all the way. So thank you. Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
So may please chant. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai.
Vanchakalpartarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva Janam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai. Hare
His
Krishna.
Grace Dharmesh Teji Prabhu ki
Jai.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Happy
Hare
Radhashtami
Krishna.
to everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much.